Hey guys, in this video we're going to take a look at the Zoom H5. This is a portable audio recorder that's good for quick music recording and on-location audio recording for video production, with a massive improvement over the audio quality you get from a typical camera. We'll cover how to use this audio recorder and a lot of its features. I picked up one of these audio recorders to be able to record better quality audio with my camera setup, since built-in camera microphones are typically not very good. With this setup, I can record audio on this recorder and sync it to my video editing software later. Compared to a lot of other audio recorders, the Zoom H5 was a good choice for my needs. It features swappable microphone capsules, so I can use an XY capsule for music recording and a shotgun capsule for video production. There's also XLR microphone inputs for recording XLR microphones or a feed from a mixer board. This audio recorder is a good balance between the Zoom H4n and the Zoom H6. The Zoom H6 has more microphone inputs, but I don't need more than 2 for my uses. The H4n doesn't have an interchangeable microphone capsule, which makes it more difficult for some video situations. At the top, we have the microphone capsule. With the Zoom H5, we can attach a bunch of different microphone capsules for a variety of different audio recording situations. If you buy the H5, you'll get an XY H5 microphone capsule, which has a left and right microphone positioned at 90 degrees to each other. The capsule has a level control, so you can adjust the level on it, and there's a guard over it that's helpful so you don't accidentally change the volume level. There's also a 3.5mm input on the side if you want to use that instead. Compared to the capsule included with the Zoom H6, this capsule doesn't have an adjustment for the microphone angle, but the microphones are shock mounted, and this helps to reduce some of the noise if the audio recorder is bumped. Each microphone capsule has 2 buttons on the side. If you push these in, it releases the latches so the capsule can be taken off. On the left side of the recorder, we have a line output that we can use to connect it to a camera if the camera has a line input. Otherwise, we'll need to use an attenuator in between so the level is not too high. Next to that, we have a headphone output. We can listen back to our tracks either with headphones or the built-in speakers on the back of the recorder, but the quality of the headphones is much better. The next buttons are for volume. We can independently change the volume of the headphones and the speaker. The USB connector can be used to connect our audio recorder to the computer. From there, we can use it as a USB microphone instead of having to use an audio interface. Last, we have the power switch. To power on the Zoom H5, we need to hold down the switch for a few seconds and then we'll see the screen light up. This works the same for power off. The switch can be slid towards the top once we start recording, and this prevents any changes like accidentally stopping recording from happening. On the right side, we have a remote input to control the audio recorder. This comes with the Zoom H5 accessory pack, which is sold separately. The switch next to it allows us to change settings in the recorder and navigate through the menus. If we want to select something, we just click in the center of the switch. Then there's the menu button, which allows us to access the menus and exit the menu when we're finished. The last thing we have on this side is the SD card slot. The Zoom H5 takes a standard SD card up to 32 GB. The bottom of the audio recorder has 2 combined XLR and 1/4-inch inputs, so we can record professional external microphones with the H5. On the back, there's a speaker to play back our track, a mount to attach it to a camera rig, and the battery compartment. This audio recorder runs off 2 AA batteries, and it can use rechargeable batteries. On the front of the audio recorder, we have our screen and the level knobs that control the preamps for the XLR microphone inputs. The LR buttons are used to turn on the microphone capsule. When they're red, the capsule is enabled. The 1 and 2 buttons are used to turn on the XLR microphones. Then we just have stop, play, pause, and record buttons. Underneath, there are previous and next buttons to navigate our files. To record with the Zoom H5, we just press the buttons to activate the inputs we want, use the dials to adjust the level so they're loud enough but not clipping, then press the record button. When we're done, just press stop. To switch between tracks, all we have to do is use the previous and next buttons at the bottom. This will change the track displayed on the screen. The displayed track is what will play when we press the play button. Let's look through what we have on the main screen. In the top left is the SD card indicator telling us we're recording to an SD card. Next to that is the time indicator, which tells us how much space we have left to record on the SD card in the current format. When we start recording, it will show the current recording length instead. If we turn on the microphone inputs, we'll see that this time indicator decreases. On the far right at the top, we have our connected capsule, which shows up as XY5. The plus B button indicates we're recording with a backup track, and we'll talk about that later. Finally, we have a battery level. Underneath, there's the folder we're recording in. The Zoom H5 can record to different folders to manage our files. Then we have the level indicators for our capsule microphone and XLR inputs. At the bottom, there's the audio quality icon. Here we can see the H5 is recording as a WAV file at 44.1 kHz and 24-bit. Now let's go through the menus. Press the menu button on the side to view this. First is the projects. Press in on the scroll button to enter this menu. In the projects menu, we can see all our files we've recorded. We can press the play button to hear them back or the delete button to remove the file. When we go to press the delete button, we can use the scroll button to navigate and press it to select files or select all with the play button. Once they're selected, use the record button to confirm the delete. To back up in our menus, use the menu button. Now scroll down to folders. We use this to select a folder, and that can keep separate recordings in separate folders. Let's cover the inputs and outputs. First is low cut to remove low frequencies. We can change what input this is on from the capsule to the microphone inputs. We have similar options for the compressor and limiter. After we select an input to apply it to, we can choose the settings we want applied. The next option is for phantom power. The selection at the top allows us to choose what inputs is on and off for. Then the voltage can be set to 12 volts, 24 volts, or 48 volts. All the microphones I use 48 volt phantom power. The plug-in power provides power to 3.5mm microphones that are attached to our XY capsule. The in-1-2 pad is a -20 decibel pad that's applied to the XLR inputs. We use this if we have a high-level signal coming in to prevent it from clipping. Below that, we can set the 1-2 inputs to mid-side if we're using a microphone in that configuration. We can turn it on or off, choose which microphone is which, and adjust the levels. The MS RAW monitor allows us to adjust how we hear those inputs. It can be set to stereo or RAW. In RAW mode, the mid will go to the left channel and the side will go to the right channel. In monitor mixer mode, we can scroll through and select our inputs, adjust their panning and their level. That adjusts what we hear through the headphones, but not what's recorded. Last, we have line output level. This can be used to decrease the line output level, that way we can connect it to a camera input and record directly on the camera without causing clipping or having to use an attenuator. Under the record menu, the first option is the record format. We can set the sample rate and bit depth here. Next are the audio record levels, so the Zoom H5 will start recording when the signal hits a certain level. The pre-record allows us to capture 2 seconds before we press the record button and start recording from there. Our next option is to create a backup recording. This is a second recording that is 12 decibels lower than the regular recording. I always recommend leaving this option on. If our regular track peaks and clips, it can cause a distortion that we won't be able to fix. With this mode enabled, we can have a quieter track without the clipping that we can use to fix that. After that, we can set our project name to default or date. I'll set it to date. The record counter setup switches between count up from 0 and count down from the time remaining from the space on the SD card. Under play, we first have AB repeat. With this, we can loop a small section of our recording. First, use the scroll buttons to switch between the start and end marker. Then use the play button to play along the clip and press it to set the start marker. Switch to the end marker and then do the same thing. With the record button, we go into a mode where we can hear this section on repeat. In counter setup, we can have the counter and playback count up from 0 or count down from the file length. There are 2 tools included with the Zoom H5. The first is the tuner. The tuner uses the microphones to tune an electric or acoustic guitar. We can select the tuning, then use the scroll buttons to set a reference pitch, which is usually 440 Hz. There's a metronome that can be used during recording, playback, or both. We can control the count in, tempo, sound, pattern, which is the time signature, and the volume level. Under System, the first option is to set the date and time, which is important to properly organize your files. Then we can set the backlight to on, off, 15 seconds, or 30 seconds. For the time selections, the backlight will turn off after that amount of time if a button has not been pressed on the Zoom H5. Below that, we can set the display contrast if our screen doesn't display properly. The battery type can be set to alkaline or nickel metal hydride. This doesn't really affect performance that much, but it can be used to give a more accurate remaining battery indicator. Below that, we just have the firmware version and factory reset options. The next set of options deals with the SD card. Remain shows us the total and remaining space on the SD card. Format will remove all the contents from the SD card and refresh it for the best performance. Performance test is used to determine if the SD card is fast enough to be able to record audio safely. We can just do a quick test for this. When it's finished, it should show OK, not NG. If it shows NG, first try reformatting the card. Otherwise, upgrade to a card with a faster write speed. Under USB, there are options to set the device to a card reader or audio interface when it's connected to USB. The Zoom H5 can be detected as a microphone input on most systems and used to record voice with a lot of recording software, just like any other audio interface might do. Under record mode, we can switch between multi-file and stereo file. In multi-file, our microphone capsule and XLR inputs are recorded to different tracks. In stereo file, they are mixed and combined on a single track. Since stereo file requires saving less files, we can get a maximum sample rate of 96 kHz instead of 48 kHz. We also get the options for MP3 files this time. Since I like to maintain control of my tracks after recording, I usually leave it set to multi-file, that way I can adjust them separately. However, if I'm not using an XLR microphone, using stereo might be a better choice. Thanks for checking out this video on the Zoom H5 portable audio recorder. If this video helped you out, don't forget to give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and press the bell icon to get notifications whenever a new video is released. You can also check the video description for products featured in this video or links to social media accounts.